Hello, everyone. Hi. Blessings, blessings, blessings. We are live. This is amazing. It's been one of those mornings where it seemed like anything and everything that could just fall apart did. And so we're stepping up and we're here anyway, right? All
That's
right. It's
right.
good to
That's
see you.
right.
Hi, everyone on Facebook. We love you, love you, love you.
Yes.
And we are excited to have you here. And all of you who are here live, thank you so much. This is going to be a treat because Miriam is here. Hi, Natalie. Hi, everyone. Miriam
Hello.
Stallsworth, thank you so much for being here with me. And Linda Millett, thank you so much, sis, for being here with me too. We are really just going to enjoy this morning. So this week we have Lech Lecha. This is an amazing, amazing and favorite Torah portion.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
know, what's really interesting about this Torah portion is that we can get all, we can get all technical and we can do all of that. We can get all technical and do the study where we're trying to figure everything out. But you know what, ladies, really when it gets down to it, this is my idea. Whoops, sorry, crazy here. Sorry. This is what hit me this week in studying for this Torah portion. I really want to experience this Torah portion. I want to experience the love of the Father in my heart. I don't want to just come away this week with knowing more things. I really want to experience this. And so when I reread the Torah portion from that perspective, that I want to be like Abraham, then I saw it from a very different viewpoint for myself, Miriam. And what happened was I saw that I am just like Abraham. He is speaking to each and every one of us individually right now. Lech Lecha. Get up and go to yourself. What does that mean? Go to yourself. It means where was he sending Abraham? He was calling Abraham up to be in covenant with him. He was also calling him up to be a nation. Even though he wasn't a nation, he was being called to be a people, a nation. He was calling him into intimate relationship with the God of the universe. And so that's what hit me, is that that's what the Holy One is calling us to. How do we do that? That's what this Torah portion is all about. And starting from Genesis 12, I think this is just me chatting. But I think starting at Genesis 12, we've already seen that God is the creator. We've already seen the power and the might of who he is. And then we've seen him pouring out his grace over the people because he loves his people and he will do anything to redeem them. And that's what he did with Noah. He gave him grace upon Noah and that covenant of the people. Now this is Avram. It's not Abraham yet. It's Avram starting off in 12:1.
Right.
This is 12:1. But what he's saying to Avram is, brother, if you want to follow me, you're going to have to leave behind what you know. You're going to have to leave behind the things that make you comfortable, that you're used to, that you know how to deal with, all of that stuff. You are going to have to leave that behind because I'm going to take you somewhere else. And it doesn't just mean physically. And so, Miriam, what hit me with that was in Matthew. Where is that? Matthew 4, I believe. Don't quote me, but you can look it up.
Okay.
Where Yeshua says, to the fishermen, he's talking to the disciples. He's like, "Hey, you come follow me, and I'll make you fishers of men." He was telling them to leave behind what they knew, how they did things, how they took care of themselves, how they provided for their families, how they did business. And he's saying, if you will leave that behind, I will make you fishermen of eternal being, of eternal souls. I will make you fishers of men. And but what it took was for them to leave behind what was comfortable to them, what they knew how to do, the way that they knew how to do it, and move into a new realm. And it's in Matthew, and it's also in Mark, I know, and there might be some other places. You guys pop it up in the comments because you all
Okay.
know all these
I'm
things.
in, I'm
There it
in
is, Matthew 4:19.
right, Matthew 4, and he said to them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. And they immediately left the nets and followed him. Wow, how about that word immediately?
Immediately.
Immediately. Wow, they did
Right?
not even stop and start, oh, what about this? What about that? And you
Right.
know what? This is exactly what hit me in my head. A lot of people are going through this now, in your various communities, or when you watch it on the news, all these people that have been maybe have going to lose their jobs
Yes.
because they have to
Yeah.
make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very, very hard. This is their livelihoods.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, wow, this is really, really hard. And that's just hit me right now thinking, wow, leave it. But that's
Yeah.
easier said than done, isn't it, Brenda?
Absolutely. It is so much easier said than done. And that's why he started us off seeing in the Torah portion in Bereshit. He showed us his majesty. And then
Mhm.
he showed us his absolute, unending, unstoppable love and compassion and grace for us. He gave us that foretaste. No matter what it looks like on the outside, I will cover you, I will protect you, I will keep you. The chaos, you're going to ride on the top of that chaos. I am covering you. That's what he showed us. So
Mhm.
now he's saying, will you leave behind the ways that you have come to
Right,
know that take
right,
care of you? Will you let me be
right,
your Elohim, your everything?
right. And you know what? Oh, wow. And it's just it's overwhelming because every week I think we sing the songs about having the trust, the faith, we read the Torah portions, but then when it comes to us individually, it is so hard because what happens, the doubt and the
Mm-hmm,
fear come in.
mm-hmm.
And with Abraham, it just said, wow, he went out, leave it all behind. And he didn't even know what was going to happen, did he? He
No.
just said, leave it behind, leave it behind. And like we said, um, many times we say we ask for patience, or we ask that we have more faith. And then, boy, we get tested with it. And we're like, I didn't want this.
Yeah,
I didn't want
that's
this.
not what I asked for.
That's not what I asked for. And why did you choose us to live at this time? We were chosen for this time, and saying that we have great
Yeah.
strength. Why? Why? You think us? You think us that we have this ability, and we're supposed to be able to do even greater things? That's hard, isn't it? That's
Yeah,
hard.
it is. Erica was just saying that that's, one of the things she has to make a decision, her and her husband both,
Yes.
in order to keep their jobs. Well, we don't
Yes.
want to get into all of the
Right.
things, right?
Right.
However,
Right.
what we will get into for sure is this: he will speak to you. He will guide you. He will direct you with his hand. He will do that. Is who he is. And he will, if when he calls you to do something, he empowers you to do it, and he enables you to do it. And what that means is that we are learning this week in our Torah portion who the God is who's making covenant, who made covenant with Avram.
Right.
Remember, he made covenant with Avram before he became Abraham. He made covenant
Right.
with him. He pulled him out. He pulled him out and made covenant with him at that time. He drew him to himself before he got circumcised. He made
Yes.
covenant with him.
Right.
So
Yes.
the father took care of both sides of it before
Yes.
Abraham was
Yes.
even able to do that himself. And then
Yes.
Abraham cooperated, of course, and participated, of course, because that's what we have to do. It takes participation. However, that is the covenant relationship with our God, is that he covers both sides.
Mm.
Okay, so now I'm being told that I'm the host. So I thought I already was. Well,
Well, here we
here we
go.
go again. Something else is happening. Yeah. Who knows what that is?
Right. Right.
But anyway, I just was so impressed with that this week.
Right.
And can I just ask you, ladies, those of you that are here live, if you can put in the chat box, were you able to get on and listen to the portion this week? Listen to the recording of the portion this week? I'd really like to know if you were able to do that. So just put it on the little chat box, if you would. I'd just really be interested in that, because what Misty, or sweet Misty, she's done is she has had people recording the Torah portions. So
yes.
then it's available. Oh, good, Erica. Great.
Oh,
So
yes.
it's
There's lots saying it.
available.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can go to the Rooted Cafe, KAFE.com, and go up to the top and click on shoot, I should have written this down. I think you click on resources or something I think it's resources. Click on that, and then it'll say, it'll have the Torah portion on there where you can just click on it and listen to it. The nice thing about that, I'm sorry?
Click on the portion.
The portion. Okay. And is that in the Rooted Cafe, or is that on the Facebook portion?
Yes.
It's in the Rooted Cafe.
Rooted Cafe.
Okay. So go to the Rooted Cafe, KAFE.com. And when the page comes up, click on the portion, and then you'll be able to click on the free reading audio for the Torah portion. And the neat thing about that is, if you missed last week's, you can go back and listen to that, right, Misty? That's available, right? The previous weeks. Okay. Well, if
yes,
not,
it is.
It is. Okay. 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 So you can go back and do that. And I just love that, because for me, it's like driving in the car, I can listen to it. When I'm at the grocery store, I can put my little earbuds in and listen to it. Or when, of course, I don't go to the grocery store anymore, very rarely, but you can listen to it. And the thing is that when you listen to it, you absorb it a little bit differently than when you're reading it. And it's really great to have that. It hits a different part of your brain when you're listening to it than when you're reading it. So I really love doing both. And I would just encourage all of you to do that.
Yes. What a great addition.
It is.
To be able to do that. It really is.
Misty, genius. Yep. Just genius. So the great thing is that in listening to the Torah portion this week, like I said, it was just really hitting me from the perspective of relationship with the Father. And then also Noah was given grace. Abraham, on the other hand, Abraham has been endued with emunah, which is faith in English. I just can't stand it. I just can't stand it when it says faith in English, because it does. That's not what it means. It's faithfulness.
Faithfulness.
Yes. Miriam, talk to us a little bit about that, because a lot of people don't understand that emunah, where it is translated faith in English in our Bibles. It's really not a belief system at all.
No.
So talk to us a little bit about that.
It is not believing. Well, I think that's the difference between Greek thinking and Hebraic thinking. I think that's the key, that you just believe. And that, I think when you and I, Brenda, talked a little bit about this earlier, about just the knowing. But really, it is the verb, it is action, it is doing. There's a great book, God is a Verb. And so
love that.
And so this is what it is. It's the action of acting out the faith, acting it out. It is a daily walk. And boy, if this Torah portion, it sure has a lot of it, doesn't it?
It does.
And of course, and then there's Hebrew Hebrews when it talks about these people of faith, the men and women. But I think we've had a misconception for so long of just that it's just a belief. And it's much more than that. It's the doing, not the knowing. It's the doing. It's the action.
Yeah.
Faithfulness. How am I faithful? By having my Shabbat every Friday night, to remember and to observe. It's not just, oh yeah, I know it's the Sabbath. It's acting it out and doing it. And even if I don't feel like it, it's not
Right.
about feelings. And I think that gets in the way a lot too. I might not feel like it,
Mm-hmm.
but I will do it. And so it's our walk, it's our daily walk. And I know many times years ago they say, oh, just have faith. You look at that person and look at them with the eyes of faith. That person is healed. And they'll say sometimes, oh, that can't you see that person's healed? And people look and go, what are you talking about? So I think sometimes it's very hurtful. There is such a balance with this, isn't it? Isn't
Yeah.
it, Brenda?
Yeah.
There's the balance, because we must believe that
Right.
he can do anything and he loves us so. But we also have to do our part. And that part is the walking out of the faithfulness.
Amen. That's right.
Mhm.
It is. And faithful emunah, when we say the word faith, a lot of people think that it is the power of positive thinking.
Yes.
It's just powerful, positive
Yes.
thinking and positive confession and positive mindsets and visualization and stuff. And it's so it's so much more than that. And like, I love how you said that. It is the action. It really, if every time you see the word faith in the Bible, if you would just think of it as faithfulness, that would help you have a better perspective of what is being said in that scripture.
And I think also, unfortunately, and this is one of the things we're going to also work with when we have the ladies' conference, is that sometimes we don't realize the potential we have, and we'll go to our circumstances rather than going. It says go to your other self, go to the self that has the mind of Messiah, that you have a direct assignment from God. Each one of us do. And many times we listen to that little voice that says, no, you really don't have that together. How are you going to do this? And I'm not going to be able to do this. Look at you. Or, I'm not that smart. Or look what the other, or we do the comparison, don't we?
Yeah.
And as a result, we don't put forth. And that was so good what you said about having it's not about the positive thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's about knowing what he has in store and has for each one of us, and
Right.
not going by those feelings that maybe, I feel a little heavier today, or I don't feel so good. And then we compare ourselves. We think, no, I can't do that. Or I don't look like that. Or I don't have that ability. Or I'm not that good of a mother. I'm not that good of a wife. I'm not that good of a leader or a teacher. And that's so wrong, because
Yep.
all that negative is just pushing and pushing down. And if Abraham did it, I guess the word and immediately, that they went immediately,
Oh,
that
I
is
love
still
that.
just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And because it went like this. It was like a spiritual thing. And
Right.
I think that's really what we're trying to say. Pardon me. I think that's what we're really trying to say here. It's not intellectual, and belief systems are intellectual. You have to know what you believe.
Right.
You have to know it, understand it, have learned it, and then you believe it.
Yes.
But this is not that. What he's
Right.
saying here is that he wants an intimate relationship with us where
Right.
it's covenantal, where
Yes.
he is taking care of both sides of the coin. He's the one that's going to take care of both of it. He's going to enable, empower, equip. He's going to do all of that. He's going to see to it. That's his part of what he's doing. But what we have to do is participate. That is our required doing.
Yes.
We have to participate. If we don't, if Peter would have just sat on the boat and said, okay, make me a fisher of men.
Right.
No, he had to get off the boat and follow him. And last night we had a really great master's class with Simi last night for our monthly webinar. And she was talking about discipleship. And that was pretty much exactly from my perspective, that's really what I got from it was, hey, look, this whole thing with discipleship, it means that we follow him, that we take on his ways, that we start believing the way that he believed. That's what we start doing. It doesn't mean just in our minds. It means our feet are walking the path.
Right.
So one of the things, Miriam, I love that you brought this up. One of the things, and it's one of my, one of the things that it just means so much to me, is that Shabbat is really, the Sabbath is really like one of the first steps that will radically change your life forever.
Right.
Forever. And I think what it is it's you saying, okay, here I go. Because I remember when I first experienced Shabbat, Saturdays are a work day. Saturdays, our culture here where we live here in the United States,
or
our culture is it's your shopping day, it's your errand day, it's all the days because it's the first day that you have off of work. And so you get everything done. It's work from the minute you wake up till the minute you go to sleep. You work, or you work your job and you get that extra pay that you need to help with your family budget, right?
Right.
You get the lawns mowed, you get all the things done, right?
Right.
So saying to the Holy One, I'm gonna set this time aside and purposing. Now, listen, I know that there are lots of things like companies that, you are required to work on Saturdays. What I'm saying is set your intention. Trust that the Holy One will work that out. Sometimes it means changing jobs, but sometimes it means being faithful in the midst of it and working your way through it. And I've had to do both. But set your intention, because in the Hebrew thinking, Miriam, and you can speak to this a little bit better than I can too. In the Hebrew thinking, its intention is everything. When you choose, that's why I'm always telling people, put your foot on the path, What I mean is set your intentions that you are going to set aside that 24-hour period of time, Friday night to Saturday night. You're setting that period of time away, setting it aside, making it holy in the sense that it's being separated from the norm, separated from every day. This is the way it always is. Separating it and putting it different, putting it aside for him. And it's
like getting in that vehicle. You're getting in that vehicle and the whole world around you. And if you ever are like, all of a sudden, you're driving to your services or to a meeting and it's on Shabbat, and you see, like I see on our way, the cars lined up at a drive-in to get food, and there's all these games and there's all these things going on, and the outside world is just going along, and you're saying, no, I'm going to separate myself from this. And believe me, and for many of my congregants and ladies, we have wrestled with this, because you will be tested.
Yes,
your
you
family will say, why can't you do this? Can't you come to this thing? Can you not do this? And they set it on Shabbat. If they're not keeping it, you have that pull in you saying, oh, wow. And we're tested just like Avram was tested over and over and over. They said that he went through 10 testings.
Yes.
And Yes, 10 testings.
Mhm.
And it's not easy, but that's when we have to go above our feelings.
Yes,
And it
exactly.
isn't, it means, yes, we love you, but you know what? We love God. We
Yeah.
have got this set
Yeah.
that, and it's not about choosing your family or over, it's not, and that's so sad, isn't it, when people
Mhm.
don't understand. They don't understand. But when we know that we have made that commitment, and I know so many of us, we're hustling and bustling, and especially if you're working, getting ready, you have small children trying to get ready for Shabbat, and you're thinking, oh my, look at all this work, all this, like we were ready, trying to get ready this morning, and it was a little frazzled because we couldn't get on. Then you sit at the table and you take that deep breath and you light those candles, and it's like the whole world is outside, and there you are with the light, with the lights. And I don't know about you, but sometimes we go to bed and our lights are still flickering, like they're dancing and saying, here
Oh,
I
yeah.
am, here
Yeah.
I am. The spirit is alive.
Oh, I love that. Ladies over on Facebook, send us some, chat with us and talk to us. And
Yes, yes, talk to us.
Sydney will let us know what you're saying. Um, yes, yes. Linda said, I think that is how we cooperate with keeping Torah with the Holy One. We give him our desire to please, serve, worship him, and set our will towards that, and he makes it happen. Yeah, that is
Mhm.
so true. And Linda Millett, are you on here? Can you come on camera real quick?
I'm here.
Okay, great. Linda, you have a really good insight into this. What you believe is how he builds that emuna inside of us. We were talking about that before.
Well, for me, it started in an intensive care trip, second trip in 2010, when a patient care tech came into my room with something that she had written while she was on break. And it was Romans 8:28. And it was beautifully done and all illustrated that she had drawn for me. She says, I believe the Lord wants you to have this. And really, that started this angling away from being in church for the 38 years that I'd been
Mm.
and moving towards a deeper understanding of who the Father is. And I remember sitting in a Torah class years ago when Jack was still around, our friend Jack, and he said
Mhm.
that he had met Yeshua in the Gospels and he had met the Holy Spirit in the epistles, but he had met the Father in Torah.
Oh, that's
And
so good.
what drew me
Yeah.
into Torah was I had this MP3 player and I would listen to the Pauline epistles for years, and Proverbs and Psalms and everything. But my machine kept resetting itself to Genesis 1:1. So I bought another one and thought that one's probably, going back to the beginning because something's wrong with it. It's about 8 years old. So I get another one and it did the same thing. So what I heard from Genesis 1:1 night after night, it would keep playing as I would sleep, and I'd wake up and kept hearing, and God said, and God said, and God said, and the King James, and God said. And I
Mhm.
thought, if this is all I'm hearing, then he's trying to tell me something. What I believe it was is I ran into the sovereignty of God in my health issues and in my family issues.
Mm.
I was absolutely powerless to take care of anything. I had had miraculous healings. We'd seen miraculous deliverances, but they suddenly stopped. And all I saw was this great wall of He is sovereign. And in accepting that sovereignty of God and realizing that what I was trying to do was manipulate life circumstances in order to feel more comfortable about what was going on. That's the way I thought I was supposed to pray. That's the way I had been praying. And, he allowed a certain level of that to go on for some time. And then finally he pulled the plug. I remember being taught as a very young Christian to pray for the will of God when I prayed for someone. But after something happened, after I got involved in Pentecostal churches, somehow something in me changed. And I felt like I had no borders, no boundaries. I could ask God whatever I wanted, and he was going to do that. And as foolish as that sounds, that is actually how I lived it out. I'm kind of oversimplifying it, but manipulating circumstances or telling God how he should be running my life and the life of my loved ones and the affairs of others is what he was trying to put an end to.
That's
And
so good.
it took,
That
I
was
gotta tell
really
you,
good.
it probably took a decade to go through that. I'm serious, because of the resistance in me. And one of the things that he used to fit into that was the very first little Baptist revival that I went to. This wonderful speaker said something that upset me. And he said, "You only really believe that which you act upon." And I remember being very indignant. Oh, no, I'm 23. I know everything. Blah, blah, blah.
Say that again. That is so good. Say that again.
You only really believe that which you act upon.
Wow.
So I was so offended. Well, I believe a lot of things, and I don't always act. And that was like a life challenge that he just plopped into my life, and in 1976, and said, "This is where we begin." Well, I've tried to go around that, and you can't. You can't go around the sovereignty of God. You can't push him out of your way. You can't manipulate him. You can't cry enough. You can't weep enough. Yes, he's merciful. Yes, he will intervene. Yes, he will shorten the duration of your temptation. And 1 Corinthians 10:13 was my mantra. I mean, you're going to make a way of escape that I could be able to bear it.
Yep.
So what I found in the core challenge was I didn't know the Father at all. I loved Jesus, and I was just totally swept away by the beauty of the Holy Spirit. But I did not know how to pray anymore. He even took the words away from me. I couldn't pray. I didn't know who he was. I'm just fumbling. And I thought, okay, what am I running into here beyond the sovereignty of God? And it was that he is in control of every detail of my life. And I didn't like that, because I still felt like I was able to operate autonomously because I had this so-called free will, which we have. We absolutely do. But what I found was free will, he draws us with cords of loving kindness, right? Well, when you start walking away from him and diving into your free will, and you want to go in your own direction, and you want to solve your own problems and fix your own stuff, you don't want to ask for his help or whatever, that's just my burden that I've been, you're going to run into, it doesn't work. So what I found in finding Amuna, it was divinely sweet. It went back to Romans 8:20. All things do work together for good, but that doesn't mean that you are the one in charge of those things.
Wait, what? What? Doesn't that mean everything's good? Doesn't that mean everything's easy?
No. Oh no, it does not. It also means that he uses resistance. He's a resistance trainer. You ever been to the gym with a really good trainer? They will work you. And resistance is there to overcome these obstacles. Our heart is desperately wicked, and who can know it? Well, our heart wants what it wants, and we're so used to indulging it. And we live in a society where we're told to follow our heart. We're told that we are the captain of our fate, the master of our soul. But this is a bunch of baloney. So finding out, one day my husband said very sweetly, he said, Linda, I see that Father is in every little teeny detail of our lives. And I was like, every little detail. So for me, finding Amuna was to say, you're going to go beyond a belief system, which is nothing more than a religious structure.
Right.
And you're going to leave that religious structure behind, and you're going to Lech Lecha out of that. And you're going to walk and find out why Father Abraham is truly our father and what he had to do to get to that place. He had to leave everything that he knew. He had to leave the belief systems of the idolatrous community he lived with, his father, his nephew. He even was estranged from Sarah from a time, I think, with what was going on with these giftings and these callings in his life. He's struggling with this. And until he really meets with Melchizedek, there's no one else on the planet that he knows that is searching for the Father the way he is searching for the Father. And I believe the Father is actually searching for us.
Yes, I agree with you.
We don't recognize. We just don't recognize. So
and sometimes we're hiding, aren't we? We're hiding. That is so good. I love what you said about leaving the religious structure, because for so many, going through the ritual of everything was their security. And what was happening, all the security was being taken away, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Until it's only in him.
It's only in him. And I think that's what the struggle with so many people, until they come into Torah, and then coming, like you said, to realize, wow, I got to leave all that behind. Maybe not everything. You don't throw everything. What is that expression?
Yeah.
Throw out with the bathwater, the baby with the
bathwater.
bathwater. Yeah. And so we're not leaving out Yeshua or anything, but all those things that we thought, our position, our religious structure, and no, we had to go and kind of, it's like the Etch a Sketch, like I've said, we got to kind of erase that and then reprogram in, isn't it?
That's so good. So in this Torah portion, Lech Lecha, Abraham gets the calling.
Yes.
Adonai says to Abram, get going out of your land and from your relatives and from your father's house to the land that I will show you. My heart's desire. This is Adonai speaking. This is the big thing, you guys. From now on, you're going to be hearing this almost every week. It'll say in Hebrew, it says, well, in English, it says, and the Lord said. So he's speaking. He's speaking. And he says, my heart's desire is to make you into a great nation, to bless you, to make your name great so that you may be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, but whoever curses you or demoralizes you or speaks evil of you or puts you down, okay, I will do the same for them. And in you, all the families of the earth will be blessed. So Abram went, okay? So there we go. The word came forth and he said, yes. Something rose up within him. And I think what we're talking about here with emunah, I've always said emunah, and it's not, it's emunah. So Linda always says it right. With emunah, it's that thing that rises up within you because we're made in his image. We are his shadows. We were made in his image. We were created with that thing inside of us that wants to reflect him. We want to shadow him. And in the word, it actually in Hebrew is shadow, made in his likeness and image. It actually, it's zelim, and it means shadow. You're made in his shadow. And what that means is that we're made to respond. When he goes right, we go right. When he goes left, we go right. We're made that way. We're made to be that way, but we choose to resist that. And what he's asking us to do is come follow me, and I'm going to make you fishers of men. In other words, I'm going to make you a great nation. So it was spiritual in the sense that he was calling him forth out of his land into a physical land, but also a spiritual land.
Yes.
The Garden of Eden, which is what hovers over Israel. Okay, so he's calling him forth. That's why Abraham looked up. I believe he's looking up. He's seeing it in his mind's eye. He's seeing in the spirit what God is calling him to. And he's thinking, well, I don't even have any kids. My wife's barren. I don't even have
Yes.
any kids. And you're telling me you're going to make me a great nation.
Right.
No, he
Right.
went. He did it anyway. He went. He did just like Peter jumped off the boat. I'm in.
Right. Right.
Immediately. I'm in.
That's it.
Right.
So
Yes.
that
And-
was what. Go ahead, Miriam.
Well, in verse 7 of chapter 12, and then the
Adonai.
Lord appeared to
Mhm.
Abraham, yes, and to your descendants, to your seed, I
Yes.
will give this land. So he built an altar there. Didn't Noah do this? Didn't Noah
Yeah,
built
yeah.
an altar
He sure did.
to the Lord who had appeared to him?
Yep. He sure
And
did.
so he was then being gratitude and grateful and acknowledging, like you said, wow, I'm going to have this and I don't even have any children
I don't even have any
right
kids.
now.
My
You know,
wife's barren.
I don't have any kids at all.
Yeah.
Right. But then, like you said, every word is so important.
Yeah.
In verse 10, now there was a famine in the land, just like Yosef was used as a famine in the
Yeah.
land to help,
Hyperlink.
right?
Hyperlink.
Yes, yes. But then they went down to Mitzrayim. When you go down, it's not going up to the mountaintop to be with Adonai. It's kind of, so they're going down. So we need to, every word sometimes, not going up to the mountaintop. We're going down and we're going to experience some different things.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I am. Yes. I'm just looking here. Someone asked a question about in Genesis 12 about offspring.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make sure that that I answered correctly. Here we go. Let's see if we can find it here. Yeah.
What verse are you on?
Yeah. Well, somebody just said with the offspring, that he didn't have any offspring.
Mm-hmm.
And they were asking, is offspring the same word as all children? And it is. Yeah. It is. Let's see. In Hebrew, it doesn't say offspring. In Hebrew, it says seed.
Zara.
Yeah. And it also says, yes. And it also is heirs. And but it says seed, zera. And that is what is within you that's going to come out. And that's a really good point, because emuna is that which is inside of you that comes forth like a pregnancy. It's being filled with seed.
Yes.
So it's carrying, if you want to look at it this way, it's carrying Messiah within you. You are carrying the seed within you, and that seed is growing. That's what's in you, and that's what you release to the world. That's what is coming forth. And in Emuna, that's what it is. It is that hope. It is that thing that God is placing within you, the seed of Messiah, Yeshua, the hope within you. And that's what's coming forth. And that's why we're saying it's not intellectual, guys. Faith is not a belief system. It's not something that's intellectual that you can memorize and get to. It is that connection of your spirit to God. And because he made you as a shadow and he made me as a shadow, it's available to every single living person.
Yes, every single person.
Every person.
Yes.
But what you have to do is you have to let go of what you already know in order to grasp that.
Yes.
You can't you have to have that place of the womb. You have to have that place that you'll receive. You have to receive it. So it is a
Taking
participation.
possession.
Yeah, there you go. I love that. I love that. Linda said, Christ in you, the hope of glory. Amen. I mean, really think about it. Amen. That is exactly right. It is, it's carrying that as like a pregnancy. And it's growing, and it's alive, and it's living, and it's coming forth, and it begins to create within you who it changes you. You start seeing things differently. Yeah, it is
Mhm.
just amazing. And so Miriam, let's keep going. Let's look at
Okay.
this. So we're
Okay.
looking here, and then there's a famine.
Yes.
So the famine, so then Abram, this is before he's
It's the
yeah, it's before he gets the hay, the revelation.
yes. Yes.
So Abram is like, all right, let's go to Egypt, but make sure and say that you're my sister, because they'll kill me because you're so beautiful. They're
Right.
going to want you. And
Right.
so he's doing things the way that he knows how to do them, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then an interesting thing happens. So she does that, and there's a lot of Charlie, actually, she has a lot of insight in this, and she had a lot of things to say about this today, and I'm so sorry that she's not able to be with us today, but she had a lot of really good things to say about this. But the thing was that Abram did what he knew to do. Okay, hello, we all do. And Sarah did too. Sarah went along with it. There's a lot of things that talk about that. But what happened was that the Pharaoh got the Pharaoh, they were there for a while because his women stopped having babies. So they were there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the day trip.
Yeah. They all of a sudden, there was a plague and he was unable to procreate.
Yes. Yes.
So all of his wives stopped having babies, and there was a plague on them. And so then Pharaoh knew, somehow he knew. There's a lot of stuff goes on in the Midrash that tells us how Pharaoh knew and how he found out. But anyway, he knew. And then he said to Abraham, why did you tell me that this was your sister's? Because I just took her for my wife. Why didn't you tell me? I mean, take her back. I'm getting cursed. Take her back.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And take everything, take everything with you. Here's donkeys.
Yeah,
here's
take
cattle,
it. You can have it. You can have it.
Just get it and go. And then I love it because then the Lord, it says, and Pharaoh instructed men concerning him, and they expelled him. With his wife and everything that belonged to him. So Abram went up from Egypt, he and his wife and everything that belonged to him, and Lot too.
Yes.
To the Negev. And now Abram was very rich in livestock, silver and gold, and he proceeded by stages from the Negev as far as Bet El, to the place where his tent had been in the beginning, between Bet El and Ai, to the place of the altar that he had made there at first. And there Abram called on the name of Adonai. And then Lot and Abram have to separate. And it's really interesting because that's another thing about Emunah, is that it is not what you see with your eyes. So Abram says to Lot, hey, if you want to go right, go right. If you want to go left, go left. You choose, you take all of your wealth and all of your possessions, because Lot had inherited from his father. So he had all of his own possessions too. So Abram's like, if you want to go to the right, go to the right. Check it out. Tell me where you want to go, because God will take care of me. Don't worry about it. And so Abram looks, and with his eyes, which hyperlink back to Hava, right? In the garden. With his eyes, he saw and discerned what would be the best, what would be the most valuable.
What was the best for him?
What he was going to get the most out of, right? He saw with his eyes, and that's what he chose. Abram wasn't worried about it. Abram was not worried about wealth or any. He was on this journey because he knew that there was something going on that was way bigger than him. And so he said, go ahead.
You know what? I was reading something about kind of like sort of a midrash or whatever, but it was saying that, in our flesh, how many times you would think this would happen in business if you had a partner, and how many times would they say, no, go ahead, you take all that you want, and whatever's left, I'll take. That is not how we operate in this world, is it? It isn't. No, we want the best for ourselves, and so it is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it really is.
That he said, no, I trust God. I trust God.
That's it.
Yep.
And
That's it.
Yep. And then so that's what he did. He told Lot, go ahead and do it. And so Lot did. He chose the most productive land for himself.
Right.
And he went and
most well watered. most
Yes.
well watered.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Abram takes the dirt.
Yeah,
The
he
desert.
takes the dirt, the desert, the
The
dry
weeds.
land. Yeah,
The
yes,
tumbleweeds, right?
yes,
But it's
yes.
really interesting because he was moving his tent from place to place, and he stopped and he dwelt at Mamre's large trees. Wait
Mhm.
a minute, hold on, which are in Hebron. Guess what, guys?
Mhm.
Hebron is
Mm,
where the cave is, that is,
Yes,
no,
Machpelah.
is the entrance to the Garden
right,
of Eden.
right.
It's
Yes,
where
yes.
all of them end up. uh, Adam and Hava are buried there.
Mhm.
And well, not Noah, but and then Abraham and Sarah are buried there. And then Jacob and Rebecca, not Rebecca, but
Mhm.
Jacob and Leah are buried
Yeah.
there. So this is
Mhm.
the entrance to the, supposedly the entrance to the garden.
I
And
know.
so Abraham like takes the tumbleweed path, you know,
Yes,
he takes
yes.
the he takes that path, but he knew that he knew that he knew he had that thing inside of him that was
Mhm.
calling him forth, and he knew wherever he takes me, he's going to provide for me. That was never
Right.
a question with Abram. Never a
Right.
question. Wherever he takes me, he's going to provide for me. And he
Wow.
takes him to the cave,
Mhm.
that beautiful place that we
Mhm.
ladies, we all are yearning to get back there. And that
Mhm.
soil that created Adam, that soil that created the physical mankind, that soil is the soil that is in us, that is calling us back to that place. That's why we yearn to go to
Yes,
Israel. That's why we
yes.
yearn to get back there. Not because
And
it's
when
a
we go
great
there,
place.
yes, I've come home. And
Yeah.
we were blessed to go to Hebron, and wow, and to see all that. And that was amazing. That was amazing.
Oh,
It
I
was
can't wait. When I
that-
was there, I did not have the opportunity to get to
mm,
Hebron. And so
mm,
that will be on my next trip.
yes, yes.
So
Amen.
kind of getting back to where Abraham was
Uh-huh.
and taking this off the page and putting it on the pavement a little bit more. What I see is, as he's embracing a covenant now, and he's recognizing the sovereignty of the Father, he is starting now to trust that this divine guidance that he is receiving is good. That the Father is good.
Mm,
Is that not what, Linda, is
mhm.
that not just the essence of Emuna?
Right. And until
Yes,
we build
yes,
our lives around that virtue of the
Yes.
Holy
mhm.
One, we are not going to fully be able to enter into the joy of knowing the Father.
Say that
Mm.
again,
Because
sister. That is prophetic. Speak that again.
Yeah, very good.
That's going to
Yes.
come right back out. So
if we
please.
don't recognize that the Father is good, we will build our lives around other things. I mean, we will never fully embrace the joy of knowing the Father. I used to minister to very damaged women and do jail and street ministry. And I found a lot of orphan spirits out there of people who cannot accept that the Father is good because their earthly father was not.
Right.
Right,
And they're
right.
damaged, and they're
Right.
unwilling or unable to open their heart to this idea, this concept.
Yes.
Somebody said, I think it was Kathy Gifford Black, said that if you are not anchored in the goodness of God, then you will lower your theology to match your pain.
Oh, that's
Ooh,
good. You need
And
to type that
that's
in the, you need to
exactly,
type that in the chat.
okay.
that
So
was
that's
very
exactly
good.
what we do.
Yeah.
We try to accept that. We try to see that he is good. We try, but then we see something that kind of goes against the grain and think, well, how could he allow that?
Right.
Why would a good God allow that? Not understanding that he will allow situations in our lives that create resistance and conflict
Yes.
so that we will pursue him, so that we will
Yes.
find him to be our deliverer, so that we will find him to be our helper.
Yeah.
But if, coming from the dysfunctional background that I did, Rocky Land, we didn't ask for help, for one thing. And secondly, other than this, I can do it, I can be battle by myself type of attitude. We just didn't trust one gender or another for a lot of reasons.
Right.
Now, God is not gender. He's not based on a gender. He has the mother heart, the father heart, all wrapped up in him.
Yes, he
How else
does.
can he be the one in Isaiah who gently
Mhm.
leads the pregnant ewes and carries the nursing lambs?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the Father we're talking
Yeah.
about, and
He
getting to know
broods
the
over
Father.
us. He broods
Yes, he
over us.
broods over us.
Yes.
Even Yeshua, he says, "How I longed, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, how I longed, to hover over you like a hen broods over her
hovers.
chicks."
Yes.
And we're like, "Not me,
Yeah.
not me," So this Amuna involves a level of trust. It involves a part of our heart that needs to open up
Mhm.
to the idea that beyond the earthly concept of what we understand a father to be, he is far much more. He not only did he create us, but he provided us with a livelihood. When we say the blessing over our meal, it's because we not only acknowledge him as our creator, we acknowledge him as our provider, our source, because he does good for all. He provides food
Yeah.
for all. We will not lack food forever because he is good.
Mhm.
And just saying those words early on was hard for me. And you know what? It's not hard anymore. I think the more we trust him in just a little way, we take that little step to say, "You are good, Abba. You are good." I heard this song last week by Abraham Fried about Abba. I
Yes.
Yes.
cried, I
Yes.
prayed, I bawled, I
I sent it
laughed.
to Miriam, and she cried, and Dr.
Yes.
Deb, she cried, and
Yes.
To be able to be at that point where you can find pure, unadulterated joy in the presence of the Father, that is a privilege. That's where I want to go. That's my Garden of Eden. That's the door of the cave that I want to run into.
yes.
That's the skin I want to be clothed in. That's who I want to meet with on Shabbat. I want to know the Father like that in a deeper way. Did I have a good father? I don't know. I guess he was. But you know what? My father lived in New York and I lived in Florida. And there not only was there geographical distance, but there was a whole lot of other distance for a lot of reasons. And so I didn't come into this because I had such a wonderful earthly father and I immediately embraced this. This is a struggle of 40 some years of saying he is good, no matter what my experience have taught me, no matter what my expectations are, no matter what whatever I'm battling with, he is still good.
Yes. And
And
now
wants the
we're
very
being
best
taught.
for us.
Yes, he
Yes.
does, Miriam. And now, ladies, we're being taught through the Torah. Abraham is our father. Abraham is our father. And why? Why are we being told Abraham is a father? Because he is showing us what is a father. And first of all, in Hebrew, a father is one who brings you in and teaches you and instructs you and trains you. It's the one who cares for you. It can be a teacher, you can, a rabbi, it doesn't have to be a biological father. Father in Hebrew, it does not mean the same thing as it does in English. It doesn't mean biological. It means the one who's taking you, the one who is training you, teaching you, overseeing you, the one who's providing, looking out for you. And so Abram at this particular point and where we're at in the chapters, Abram is giving us the example of how he is our father. So we're watching him walk this out. We're watching him taking his nephew under his wing, taking him out, and his nephew taking everything good and leaving him nothing but dirt. We're seeing this happen. Abram could have just been like, what the? I did everything for you, mister. I've done it all.
Right.
And now I'm stuck with nothing. I'm stuck with
Right.
There's not even a well. I'm stuck with tumbleweeds and dirt and crazy Bedouin people out here. I mean, this is what I'm stuck with. No cities, nothing. But instead, he knew, because he had that birthed within him, that emunah birthed within him. God is good. He's going to see to this. He's the one that told me, come out. I came out. Now we're together. And now
Right.
let's walk this out. And he is our perfect example, ladies. If you don't,
Mhm.
if you never did have a daddy that you were able to have a relationship
Mhm.
with, you know, my heart breaks for
Mhm.
that. And I don't ever want that to be, none of us want that to be like
A
you're not able
stumbling
to move
block.
forward. Right.
Right.
No,
Right.
because what he's going to do is through the Torah, he is going
Mhm.
to restore
Amen.
you, and he's going to
Amen.
Right.
teach you what is a daddy, what is a father, what is
Mhm.
someone. May he reach into your hearts right now, ladies. May he reach
Mhm.
in right now and speak life and begin
Mhm.
knitting together and healing those wounds, knitting together so that he can show you, let me show you what a daddy
Mhm.
really is.
Mhm. And
Because
is anybody perfect? We'll see later on that Abraham, he kind of listens to his wife, doesn't he?
yeah, he sure does.
He sure does. But it's like we have to have that forgiveness too,
Yeah.
because he is so strong, and Avram is doing so incredible. But it's like
But he's a
anything.
regular guy.
He's
He's
a
a real
regular
dad.
guy. So we
Yeah.
can't put
Yeah.
perfection in saying,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
everybody's had different degrees,
Yeah.
but we are not perfect. And
No.
either we're
No.
our earthly fathers,
Nope.
but we have to put that aside, don't
Yes.
we?
Because
Amen.
because Adonai is the perfect father.
Amen.
Yes,
Adonai is the perfect father, right, guys?
right,
He is
right,
perfect. He is always good. He is always good.
right,
Even when it doesn't look like it, he is always good because that's who he
right.
is. But he's teaching us here in the Torah that Abraham
Mhm,
is our father. And
mhm,
Abraham blew it. Abraham made
right,
mistakes. Abraham was a regular
right,
human being. Abraham
right.
listened to some things he shouldn't have been listening to, and and
Mhm,
argued. He went toe to
mhm.
toe with God. Well, what about 50? Well, what about
Right,
40?
right,
What about
right,
30? I mean, and he
right.
lived. But the thing is
Mhm,
that we can look at that and say, oh, what he's doing is he's showing us how you embrace
mhm,
emuna and you walk things out,
mhm,
even if it's difficult, because what God is showing us through Abram is that he is good and he will do what he says he will do. And he
mhm,
wanted to make Abram
mhm.
a nation. Abram didn't have any kids. So
Right,
Abram is having to
right.
go, well, you told me, you told me that you were making me a nation, but I don't have any kids. And all I have, Lot
Mhm.
wasn't his heir. Lot had the
Right,
inheritance from his own father. Lot was not Abraham's heir. And he didn't choose to make Lot his heir either. He was going to give everything to his servant
mhm,
Eliezer.
mhm,
And so the father's saying, I promised you we're going to walk it out. And we get to see the struggle that Abraham had. And that's what I love. So we see the struggle that he had, and we see the Ishmaels that come forth from trying to do it on your own time and not
right,
trusting God.
right,
So
right.
we see that he wasn't a perfect father, but
Mm-mm.
we also know that he is our father because he was the one who's teaching us how to have emunah in the King of Kings. So
Exactly.
that's a father.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Very good.
So then so then the wars break out and Lot gets
Mm-hmm,
kidnapped and Abraham goes and rescues him. I love that. I love the part,
mm-hmm,
I don't know why, but I just love this part. Miriam, maybe you've got some insight into it. But when Abram found out that Lot had been kidnapped, he's like, he grabs his 318 servants that he brought with him from his
mm-hmm,
homeland that he had
mm-hmm,
trained up that were warriors, right? 318.
mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the significance of that number is. I didn't have a chance to look it up, but it's
Right.
specific and it says it right in there, 318. I just love that for
Yes,
some reason. It's
yes,
like, wow,
yes.
God's so good with all these details. And he's like, oh no, you did not steal my nephew. And he went
Right,
after him.
right, right. I was wondering about that too, about the 300. We know
Yeah.
18, and 18 is to life.
Yes, 18
But I don't,
is high.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
high.
high.
But
Yes.
I don't, 100, but yeah, I wonder, because every time there's a number, there's got to be a significance. But yeah, through it all, he didn't say, Lot, you were just really, you were rotten with me. So, go for it. You take on the consequences, right?
Yeah.
You just, go ahead. But he didn't do that.
Yeah.
He rescued him.
Yeah.
He rescued him.
Sheen, by the way, is 300. The letter Sheen, which is
Okay.
the manifest presence of God. So we know
Yes.
that 300 is the
Mhm.
manifest presence of God, and 18 is life. So
Life.
let's
So,
just see exactly what was happening here was that he was
right.
manifesting his presence, and he was manifesting life in the midst of this circumstances.
Yes.
And causing us to be able to see that. I love that. And then Linda, you brought this up. Melchizedek shows up. What?
Mhm. Yeah.
So now,
King of
who else is on
righteousness.
here?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm sure that Erica, you probably have some insights into this
Mhm.
too.
Mhm.
But Melchizedek, this king shows up. Melchizedek, king of Salem.
Yeah.
Yeah, he brought out bread and wine, and we are in chapter 14, verse 17,
Mhm.
18. And then he brought out bread and wine. He was a priest of El Elyon.
Yes. God Most High.
Yes, and he blessed him and he said, "Blessed be Abram by El Elyon, creator of heaven and earth, and blessed be El Elyon, who gave over your enemies into your hand." And then Abraham gave him 10% of everything that he had. Blessed him. Miriam, what are your thoughts about Melchizedek?
Well, they say in Oklahoma, they say that, Melchizedek, Melech, Tzaddik.
Yes.
So Melech is king.
King. Mm-hmm.
Zadok is
Righteous.
righteousness. Now, some think, I think a lot of the rabbinical teachings is that he was Shem. Have you heard that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have. Yeah. And Shem is the one who taught Jacob when Jacob was exiled from his home and he had to run for his life.
Yes. Yes.
From his brother.
Yes.
And he went to the tent of Shem and he was taught Torah.
Yes. Yes. And when he said he brought out bread, and what was bread? There was a poor man's sacrifice. Bread was not,
That's right.
He brought out provisions though.
Yeah.
And the wine. Yeah. So there's the bread and the wine.
Yeah. And who's the bread of life?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. It's really beautiful. So there's a lot of allusions there. I'm sure that a lot of people have a really deep understanding of this or have some insights, but listen, ladies, there's always these amazing prophetic stories within the story.
Yes.
There's all of these things that are pulling us into, I got to watch the time here, that are pulling us into a deeper yearning. Remember how we talked a couple weeks ago about reading the Torah isn't just to get head knowledge. Reading the Torah is to dig for treasures. This is one of them.
Yes.
So
yes.
I want you to all dig in on this and dig in on it this week or tonight and tomorrow when you're studying the Torah. And then we have the covenant. We've got 7 minutes. So I need to move ahead here. So we have the covenant. And the beautiful thing about the covenant here is that God himself takes the responsibility of both partners here. He says Abraham knew how to do this. When God called Abraham and told him what to do, he knew exactly what he was supposed to be doing. So he knew he was supposed to split the animals all the way up, but not the birds. He knew that.
Yes.
And he put him there, and he knew that there would be 2 of them, but Abraham was alone, and he's waiting and he's waiting and he's waiting. And the birds start coming, trying to eat up the sacrifice, and he has to shoo them away.
Birds of prey.
Yep. The birds of prey. Ding, 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 ding. Are you getting a hyperlink?
Yes.
Yeah. Because whenever you're being asked to do that, whenever you're being asked to step out in emuna, to step out without your sight, but from what is in the spirit, what he's telling you to do, there's going to be birds of prey that are going to try to ruin it for you and tear it up and take it away. And that's the resistance Linda was talking about. So don't curse him. Don't curse him, but chase him off. You know, he's waving his arms, he's chasing him off, right? And then what happens? He goes to sleep. Why? Because then he's not responsible. See, him being asleep meant that he was not responsible to carry on his own portion. He wasn't being held accountable to carry on his own portion if he failed. God was taking both sides. So the Holy One himself shows up as fire and as cloud. Hello, hyperlink to Mount Sinai, right? The burning fire and the cloud. So he's right there and he walks between the two pieces. And that's where we've talked before about this. The blood covenant is when you splatter the blood on yourself and you say, be it unto me as it is to these animals, be it unto me if I ever break this covenant, that this would happen to me, that I would be torn apart like this if I break this covenant. And that's splattering the blood on yourself. Well, the Holy One himself is the one that walked through, taking both partners' responsibilities. Standing in for both, because he is the King of all kings. And he did that. And then that's why Abraham had to be sleeping. Otherwise he would have been responsible. And that's not what God was saying. He was saying, I'm going to make sure that I've got both parts of this covenant. I'm going to carry you, and not only am I going to meet my obligations, I'm going to make sure that you have everything that you need to meet your obligations. I will provide that for you. Wow. And like you said, in business, that is not how it goes. In business, it doesn't say, if you take off with the money, I'll replace it. If you abscond with all the profits, I'll take care of it. If you burn the building down, I'll build a new building. That's not how it works. No, but that's what he's saying. And that's why what Linda was talking about was with Emuna. That is the thing. He is always good because he's got both sides of it, guys. That's what Yeshua did. He came, the word made flesh. He's like, here I am. I'm showing you that I'm taking the responsibility. I didn't do this, but I'm taking your responsibility. I'm taking this, I'm covering it for you. And he did the responsibility of, be it unto me. Yeshua took that responsibility. And died for it and was tortured for it and bled for it. He did take that responsibility. He did pay that price. How precious. So when we say that God is good all the time, truly he is good all the time, even in the hard things, ladies. We just have to change our perspective. And like the call from Abraham to look up and look out, let me show you what I have for you. The Holy One, I truly believe that the Holy One was showing him in the spirit what was going to be the nations that were going to come from Abraham and what was going to change. And then of course he changed his name. He gave him the he gave him the revelation, he gave him the healing, he gave him the ability to be the father of many nations, not just a father, but the father of many nations. And Sarah was able to, she gave up her yod. She gave up the yod and she took on that in her name. And God was so it had the yod there too, which is the hand of God, the power, the might, the authority, the dominion of God the Father. And then she took on that revelation too, where she became the one that from her womb, not only physically but spiritually, from her womb came forth that great nation. She had the same calling on her that Abraham had. Same
But
calling.
the two became one.
They became one. She had just as much going on as he did. And so how beautiful was that? What a beautiful story of restoration.
And you know what? In chapter 16, and we talk about, she had a little problem too,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
in 16:6,
She's a
so
human.
Sarah treated her harshly and
Yes.
she fled. She
Yep.
wasn't that nice, even when
Mm-mm.
she first said, no, I
Nope.
want you to go into
Right.
Hagar. But
Yeah.
then when it happened, she wasn't happy
Yeah,
with it.
because Hagar rose up in pride and belittled Sarah and said, like, look,
Yes.
I'm the favored wife because I'm the one that gave him an heir.
Exactly.
But remember, ladies, remember, and I know that we're running late, but remember, Abram was not circumcised when he had Ishmael.
Right. It wasn't until
It
yes.
wasn't until he was circumcised that he was
Yes.
allowed to become the
Right.
father of many nations.
Exactly.
With Sarah, Sarah was not able to conceive until he was circumcised, until that covenant, that blood covenant, he had met that blood covenant.
Right.
Then he was able to become the father of many nations. And
Yes.
Ishmael was blessed. Remember that the Holy One told Hagar, your son is going to have 12 sons, princes. They're going to be a great nation. He is going to have a great nation. And remember, ladies, that the nations, this is a call to the nations. This is not just a call to the Jewish people. The Jewish people are the conduit of the call, but the call is to the nations.
Exactly.
Isn't that beautiful? It will change the way that we look at people.
Hopefully so.
Hopefully so, right? So then we have the covenant of circumcision, which is the physical outward sign of the covenant. How beautiful, beautiful, beautiful is that? And boy, I wish we had like 27 hours that we could just get into the circumcision, the covenant of the circumcision, the cutting away, the cutting away of the foreskin, the cutting away of the thing that that you think is protecting you.
Yes.
From everything, but that extra flesh is not protecting you. It's actually in your way. And God is saying, sever that, because I want intimacy with you. And only then was he able to have his son, Isaac.
That was the surplus. It was
the surplus. Exactly. It's all the stuff that you don't need.
Right.
Need, but you don't need it.
Yes.
Gets in the way.
Gets in the way.
I love you guys so much. All right, we are going to, it is now 12:32 and I want to honor all of your time. We're going to go over, ladies that are on Facebook, jump in, come on, get over here, jump in, and we'll do a little after party. Miriam, thank you so much for co-hosting.
Oh,
Linda Millett, thank you so much, sis. I love you, ladies. Thank you for jumping in. And we're going to be blessing Charlie today as she just takes some time to rest and get healthy and get strong. We bless you all, and Sydney too, and Jen Doobie, if you're listening, Jen, we love you, sissy, and we're trusting God to heal you. And all of the others, put your names out there. Put your names out there, because he is the God who heals. Only him.
He's the God that heals.
Yes.
And as we go into the Shabbat, may you be totally blessed, healed, and great shalom. Take that big pause.
Yes.
Blessings to you all. It was an honor. Thank you, Brenda.
Oh, thank you. If you can stay a few minutes, fine. If you can't, I totally understand. I know you've got things you got to get done. So we're going to go ahead and go over to the party.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Love you.
Blessings.
Love you so much.
Love you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Thanks, ladies. Blessings. We'll see you next week. And